In this ukulele video, I'm going to need your help, so stick around and be ready to comment because I need your opinion on these two ukes. This is Romero's Creation ST Concert, $150. This is a $650. Do you think there is a difference between the two? In this video, we're going to find out. Welcome to ukelikethepros. I'm Terry Carter. Thanks for being here. This is going to be a really fun video because this is something I get asked all the time, especially with my store. People email me, message me, call me, and want to know the difference between this Romero's Creation ST Concert, which is all laminate for about $150, and the all solid ST Concert, which is about $650. So what is the difference? Do you think there is a difference? And we're going to find out in this video. But first of all, I appreciate you being here. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, turn on that bell notification. So these are essentially the same instrument, which is why I chose these Romero's Creations, because they're both ST Concerts, they're both mahogany, except this one is a laminate version, this one is an all solid wood version. Before I even play and show you and start talking about, do you think there's going to be a difference between the two? And if there is, what do you think the difference between the laminate version and the mahogany version? I'd love to see your comments below on that. So anyway, shall we dive in? Let's go ahead and dive right into this thing. Now, normally I usually like to do a little playing right now, but we're going to talk about what each of these instruments is so you have a clear idea of what it is, and then I'll do some playing and we'll hear the exact difference between the two. By the way, thanks for smashing that like button. So this is an STL. It's an ST Concert, all laminate. So if you look at it, it's just got laminate wood. So it's a laminate mahogany, top, laminate on the sides, and also laminate on the back. Now, this is the Daniel Ho creation. He worked with Pepe Romero to get this particular size, the ST Concert. What is the ST Concert? S stands for soprano, and what they did is the overall length from the top to the bottom here is the size of a soprano. So it's nice and small, easy to travel with, easy to throw into a bag, throw on an airplane, wherever. Now, the T stands for tenor, and what that is the body. This is the same body as the tiny tenor. Now, he did something a little special with the body here on this one. I'm going to talk to you a bit about in a second, but essentially this is the body here of his tiny tenor. This is like that nice kind of teardrop shape sound that has become really well known for not only Pepe Romero Jr., Romero's Creations, but also Daniel Ho as well. And then the concert, ST Concert, is the scale length. So the scale length being from the nut here to the saddle, and it's 15 inches. So both of these ukes that I have a lot of very similar things, but there is some slight differences between the two. So my first question is, what is laminate? What does that mean when you say a laminate wood? It's just essentially what it is just layers of wood that are glued together. So like plywood that they use for it. And generally, why do they do that? It's to help the cost. They really help the cost. That keeps the cost down and gets you a lot of instrument for a pretty reduced price. Like I said, these right here go for about $150. You can get this one as well as the other one at my store. It's the #1 store, biggest online store. That's store.ukelikethepros.com. So what do you think that laminate is going to sound like? Leave a comment below. We'll talk about it. And I'm actually going to hear about it in just a second. So anyway, so we got the ST Concert. We do have they did a great job on these. Actually, before I forget, both of these do have a low G on them. They essentially have the same strings. Both have low G. That way we're keeping it nice and fair here. Basically the Pepe Romero strings. Great strings as well. But this is actually, they did some nice things with this instrument. And they could have made it probably for like $50, but they actually did a couple of nice things to make it a little bit more expensive. Usually, like I said, they're about $150. So you got the nice mahogany neck here, nice satin finish. By the way, the whole body here is satin finished. Then you have the nice open tuners here. And then you have essentially the same thing as the other one. You just have the nice Romero's Creation headstock, the Daniel Ho signature. Now, what is the nut width? So the nut width right here, 1 3/8 for this particular instrument. And then, like I said, the scale length is 15 inches, which is a concert scale length, right? Now, a couple things they did nice, which they didn't have to do, but they did. They left it as an ebony fretboard here and also an ebony bridge. So that's really nice. Well, actually, this one does still come with a strap button. Actually, it comes with a padded gig bag as well. So Anyway, the ebony is really nice. I kind of think it helps make it a little bit of a nicer instrument. It does increase the cost a little bit, but it does make it a nicer instrument. All right, so now let's move on to the Romero Creation ST Concert. This is all solid mahogany. By the way, thanks for subscribing to that channel. Turn that bell notification on. All right, so if you look at this instrument, it looks shape-wise exactly the same. Color-wise, yeah, it's a little darker. It's a little bit nicer made. It's got a few things that they did to increase the price. These go for about $650. So you're talking about what, $150 for the other one to $650 is what, almost over three times is expensive. So is it worth it? I don't know. Is it worth it? We're going to find out sound-wise. I'll give you my opinion at the end. But anytime you have an opinion on these two, go ahead and leave it in a comment below. So if you look at this, you got a really nice mahogany. This is a really nice dark mahogany here that Pepe uses, all solid wood. It does have the abalone rosette. That helps bring the cost up a little bit. It's got the nice side, solid mahogany sides and back. Look at that. Really, really beautiful, beautiful. Again, ST Concert's the same thing. Soprano overall length, tenor, tiny tenor body with the 15 inches concert scale length. Now this one, if you notice, it does have a gloss finish on it. Again, that's something that increases the price. All these little things, the abalone rosette, the solid wood, the gloss, the tuners, all these kind of things help bring the price up. But this video is it worth it? Is a sound worth it? We're going to find out here in a second. But let's just go over this thing here. We got the nice solid mahogany neck here. It does have the gloss finish even on the neck. You have the closed tuners, really nice tuners here on these Romero Creations. You do have the ebony plate here on the headstock, which I like. Just kind of makes it look a little nicer, a little classier. You still got the same Daniel Ho signature there. Now, everything's the same though. There's one difference. I'll talk to you about in a second. But the nut width is the same, 1.3", and then we already talked about the 15 inches scale length, the ebony fretboard here, as well as the ebony bridge. Now, both of these have a compensated saddle. So what that means, if you look at the saddle here, instead of being straight, like a straight just piece of plastic or new bone or bone, it's actually compensated, meaning it actually is different lengths, and that's to help with the intonation on it. These instruments cannot be perfectly intonated. Just doesn't happen. But the compensated saddle does help get them in better intonation. All right, the one difference between these two, do you know what it is? I'm going to show you right here. All right, so the difference, well, the laminate versus solid, yes. But the big difference here is right here. This right here, this STL, the laminate version, is 3 inches. And then it goes up, it tapers off to 2.5 up here, while the solid wood one is about 2.5 inches here, and then it tapers up to 2.25. So Pepe did a really smart thing with the laminate wood, is that he made this one a little bit wider than this one. Why do you think that is? I'll talk to you about that in just a second. All right, so are we ready to do a little playing? Let's do it, because I want you to hear these two things. I got a couple pieces here, a couple strumming pieces, a couple fingerstyle pieces. We're going to do some back-to-back playing so you can really hear the difference between the two. And is it worth it? Is spending the extra money from $150 to $650 worth it as far as the sound is concerned? Hopefully, you're going to hear that in this video. But before we do that, real quick, if you haven't done so, make sure to check out ukelikethepros.com. Become part of the Uke Like the Pros Nation. We got ukulele courses over there, everything you need to learn. Beginning courses, starter courses, jazz courses, blues courses, strumming courses, song courses, and we actually have a fantastic premium membership. So check out ukelikethepros.com for that. All right, so let me get set up. I'm going to grab my headphones because we're going to do this backing track so everything is in line. It's at the same tempo, and we can match them up easy, and then you can really hear the difference between these two great ukes. All right, I got my headphones on. I'm ready to go. We're going to start with the laminate. We're going to go back and forth between these two here on the first song. Let's see what happens. that was your first test. What do you think between the laminate and the solid wood? What did you hear as a difference between those? I'm going to tell you what my thoughts are at the end, but I want your opinion here because we're going to do a couple more playing pieces here. Again, this was the laminate one. This is a solid wood. Leave the comments below. Let's do the next song. All right, so that was a little finger picking. Did you hear a difference? You should be hearing a difference between these two. I know even if you're coming out of your computer speakers or your phone or whatever you're watching this video, but there is definitely a difference between these two. Do you like one or another? I'm going to do one more piece, and I'm going to give you my opinion on these. Again, this one is a laminate, $150. This one is a solid wood, $650. Which one do you like? All right, let's do one more test. They're both great. Remember, store.ukelikethepros.com. You can get both of these, $150, $650. Which one do you like? So for me, I'm always about the solid wood. I just like the solid wood. I like the sound. I like the warmth of it. I like the overtones. It just sounds much more like a natural sound. But to be honest with you, this one sounds great. I mean, for $150, it's a great uke to have, depending on what you want to do with it, right? That's the biggest thing. But if you can jump up, I always recommend getting the solid wood ukulele. Yeah, fantastic. Romero Creations, ST Concert, store.ukelikethepros.com. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. I hope you learned something in this video. Maybe you learned a little bit of something between what the difference between laminate and solid woods are. You learned the difference between what an inexpensive ukulele and a more expensive ukulele sounds like, and there are differences, but are they worth the extra money? I don't know. That's for you to decide. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for all the comments, the like button, hitting subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Do appreciate it. And when you get a second, check it out. ukelikethepros.com. Come be part of the Uke Like the Pros Nations. I cannot wait to see you over there.